important terms about web terminology we learned. So I given you an overview of some important web terms. So we discussed about what is a web server. Till now we learned about network and types of networks and types of networks, internet, web and web server and website and a web page. So in that we discussed about how to handle static, what is static page and dynamic page. So we discussed about blogs and microblog and wiki like this. We learned about some important terminologies. We discussed the difference between website and a web application. And I told you that web is not just a website. It contains so many things, blogs, microblogs, wikis and all. Now, one more important you need to know is about podcasting. Actually, podcasting is nothing but technically what I told you about wiki. So wiki allows any anonymous user to edit its content. So and the microblog publishes information of multiple users onto single page. That is what actually. And blog in short, so it is weblog. So it is like journals on internet, usually published by individual users. So usually published by individual users, updated periodically actually, right? So that is blog, microblog, wiki. Another option is podcasting. Podcasting is generally about podcasting. What you have to know is, so podcasting, simple point I will tell you. You might have heard about the device iPod. Am I right? iPod. So can you tell me what is the meaning of pod? iPod. You have heard about iPod. Can you tell me what is the meaning of iPod? So pod means have any idea about that? What pod? Anyone have any idea about what is pod? Actually, yeah, actually, pod means, yeah, actually, pod means it is a device that can broadcast media. So pod means a device that can broadcast media. Media means audio and video. Podcasting means, actually podcasting means it allows it allows to broadcast media, broadcast media that is and video audio and video. Broadcast media means, so video. So this is little bit complex. Like for example, suppose you are watching YouTube. So best example for podcasting is YouTube. Actually, YouTube also, earlier it is not podcasting. YouTube is now podcasting. You know about iTunes, am I right? iTunes is a podcasting. Media player, media player is a podcasting. So many others are there. Actually, podcasters are nothing but, you can see a video on YouTube on your mobile or laptop. You can watch a video on YouTube. You know, if you want, you can broadcast that video onto any smart TV connected in the network. Do you know that? You can broadcast YouTube videos to smart TV. You can watch on your mobile. At the same time, you can broadcast onto smart TV. Have you seen that? Casting option is available now, right? I think everyone saw that. Everyone know that. So that means you can watch here and you can broadcast onto another device. Understood? You can watch and you can broadcast onto another device. That is what generally called as podcasting. YouTube you can watch on your mobile, and there is a casting option. If you select that casting option, you can watch that on your smart TV, which is connected through Wi-Fi on your network, right? These are called as podcasting. So designing such podcasting are very much important, because these days many are podcasters. You can listen on your mobile. For example, you have seen Amazon Prime Music. You see Prime Music, all such things are there. Savan, Prime Music, several apps are present on your mobiles. Have you observed that? You can listen to them, listen to songs on your mobile. You can even broadcast them onto a Bluetooth speaker from your mobile. Am I right? Huh? You can connect through a Bluetooth speaker and broadcast to the Bluetooth speaker. Am I right? So that means these are called as podcasters. We call them as podcaster. That means you can watch and you can broadcast to other devices. Such things are called podcasting. Podcasting. So on web, you have all these. So podcaster, YouTube is not a website. Twitter is not a website. Twitter is called as microblogger. Twitter is a microblogger. And YouTube is a podcaster. And Google Maps is an is also a wiki. So many others are there. These are all actually general things on web. So technically you should know that web means not website. It is a combination of all these, right? One more important thing you should know is browser. Everyone knows that it is a software tool used to access and interact with the resources in website. So in a website there are some resources which you want to access and interact. You can do that by using a software tool. That software tool is called browser. We have Chrome, we have Firefox, we have Internet Explorer, we have Edge. All these comes under browsers. Opera, Safari, all these are browsers. So many are there. Technically, browser is a software tool which is used for accessing the resources from a website or application. So it is general, everyone knows that. Another important is we have to know about web debugger. Web debugger, it is a software tool. It is a software tool used to track the, the request and the performance of page. So request and performance on page. It is also providing it also provides provides debugging options for developers while working with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. When we are working with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, debugging options means finding the bugs and fixing the bugs. Every browser have a debugger actually. Every browser have a debugger. Have a debugger. Every browser have a debugger which you can open by using F12 function key. F12 function key. Every browser have a debugger which you can open by using F12 function key. You just press F12 function key and a debugger will come. For example, I am using some Chrome. This is Chrome debugger. This is Chrome browser. In Chrome browser, I am accessing any resource. Localhost, we created a website, shopping, and in that images, in that some JBL speaker.jpg, that photo will come here. So here it is having some speaker actually, speaker.jpg I am having. Okay, that photo will come. Now press F12. When I press F12 function key, then you can see a debugger will open here. In the debugger, there are several categories. So these categories, how to use them, I will tell you. How to use them, we will discuss about that. It is showing how the picture is coming, from where the picture is coming, and it is showing all the details. So a lot of other details are present. So the performance and the network, how the requests are happening, we haven't tested them. We will learn about them while learning about HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I will teach you how to use this debugger. Every browser have a debugger. We can use these debuggers. You can use these debuggers to find out what is the problem in the page, to find out where the information is displayed, how much time it is taking, all such things we can identify. So, for example, you see, I went to network category. In the network category of debugger, you see there is an option stop recording network log, start recording network log. And I make a request for this page for that file. You can see it comes here, right? It made a request to JPG, speaker.jpg. And that information about it, it gets all the information. That means, so what is its address, what is its status code, how many bytes accepted, everything. Developers need all these technical details. So developers also should need how much time it is taking to load, how many milliseconds it's taken, everything. So how to use this, we will learn later. So how do we work with this? We will learn later. But you should know that every browser have a debugger. You press F12, a debugger will come. So debugger, every browser, this is Chrome. Suppose I am opening here Edge or Internet Explorer. So I open here localhost shopping speaker and that opens here. F12, a debugger will come. And you can see this is the debugger. Every debugger may not look same and have the same functionality. So some debuggers have some advanced options, some new options. Some debuggers are not like that. You can even watch how this page is going to display on a mobile. You can see here mobile consoles are there left side. Galaxy S5, Moto G4, iPhone. So you select them, then according to the screen, it will show that how it is going to display. It is going to show that, right? We can see how it is going to display in mobile, how it is going to display in browser and all that. While designing, these all are very important for us. We will learn later how to use them. Every browser have debugger, but important is, so you can open by using okay, sorry, just a network issue. Fine. So let me. Am I audible to everyone? Is it clear? Right? Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. Fine. Let's continue. Right. So yeah, that is what actually browsers are browser and a debugger. What is a debugger and how do we deal with the debugger? Technically, how do we work with the debugger? Actually, these debuggers are not enough. So every browser debugger you can open by using F12. You can also use debuggers debuggers like Fiddler. Fiddler we like Postman, etc. So many debuggers additionally are there. That means you can also use these debuggers. We have Fiddler, we have Postman like debuggers. We can additionally use them. These are used and required for doing some additional tasks, like when you are learning and working with web services, right? Yeah. So learning with web services, so learning with services, then you can use these tools like Fiddler and Postman. Fiddler and Postman. These are not required for you at the beginning level. Later, when you are learning server side technologies and advanced, you will understand about that. So I will show you a simple preview. So you can see we have Fiddler. This is Fiddler. This is one debugger. This is debugger. You can see this is Fiddler. You can see this is web debugger. It is a web debugger. Fiddler, Postman, all these are very popular debuggers. So generally, when you are learning advanced technologies, you have to know and use these debuggers also, depending on the situation, right? As of now, not required. So as of now, every browser have debugger. That is enough for you. Just you can press F12, you will get it, right? So technically, that is what actually debugger is, right? So example of additional debuggers like Fiddler and Postman. So when you are working for web development, you should know all these basic things before practically starting anything. Okay. Next important, you need to understand about what are widgets, and what is the purpose of widgets. Technically, widgets are actually widgets are gadgets for internet gadgets for internet. So, or you can simply say they are gadgets for websites and applications. Gadgets for websites and applications. So widgets are gadgets for website and applications. Generally, I will show you one simple example. What are the widgets and how to use them actually. Technically, widgets are very common also. Suppose you are developing a website for a bank like people. Suppose we have a bank like HDFC Bank, and you can see this is the HDFC Bank website. When I open this HDFC Bank website, in this website, you can observe when I scroll down, you see, you will find here, so calculators. You have loan EMI calculator, loan calculator, fixed deposit calculator, some calculators are there. Once I click on this, you can see here, so there is some personal loan calculator. I click on this. This is a calculator. This calculator opens here, and you can see in this calculator, I am entering the loan amount, how much loan amount, how many years tenure, and how much interest rate, and click on calculate. It has to calculate and show the summary. Monthly EMI will be how much. Now these are actually done in your general JavaScript jQuery only. These are gadgets for websites. EMI calculator. You have seen hospital sites or health sites. You will have a BMI calculator, body mass calculator. Have you heard about it? Have you seen body mass calculator? So that means they will handle, you define the height and weight according to your age. Is that height weight is appropriate or not? It will show all these things now. Am I right? So have you seen BMI calculator, body mass calculator, right? And of course, suppose I will show you clearly. For example, I am using Google. In Google, if I now search for weather forecast, which website will come? Can you tell me? When I search for weather forecast, which website will come? Can you tell me? Which website will come? In Google search, if I type weather forecast, which website will come? Can you tell me that? Anyone? Generally, when you type weather forecast, it will not, it will get you websites. But the main thing is, Google people, what they do is, if I type here, so weather forecast, then Google people will give us a widget directly here. Understood? They will give a widget directly here. They will give a widget directly here. They will give a widget directly here. In this widget, it will display. In this widget, it will display the weather forecast related information. You don't need to visit any website. Directly that information is shown on your screen in a small application. So widgets are like small applications that are running on a page from where you can handle the interaction. You would see these are called widgets. Not only that, for example, if I typed here like currency converter, if I type like this, you see a currency converter widget will come here. These are called gadgets, widgets. These are not websites. In a website, a widget is given to us. That widget will do certain actions. If I say 100 rupee, then it shows how many dollars it is. So that means gadgets for websites. You will learn how to design these widgets while working with JavaScript jQuery. That is what our intention of learning JavaScript jQuery also. JavaScript jQuery we will learn for designing such widgets also, which can handle interactions. They doesn't need any server side interactions every time, depending on what kind of widget it is, right? These are called gadgets, widgets. Examples for these gadgets, we have currency converter. So we have weather forecast. So, or you have EMI calculators. All this comes under. So widgets, we call them as gadgets. That is what actually widget is. So on web, there are so many things. You have to know about all of them. Because sometimes when our client asks us to develop an application, he will immediately ask us that for my website, I want some widgets. For my website, I want some gadgets. And he will give you the formula and the process how they have to work. You have to design through a web developing software and give it to him in his website. That means the formulas, everything in the background, he will provide what need to be. But design and functionality you have to achieve by creating this. right? That is what actually widgets are, gadgets are. So you should know that we have widgets also. So many widgets are ready made provided to us. For example, I will show you. So, suppose several widgets we don't need to design. Some widgets are ready made provided to us. We have to bring them and use them in our projects. For example, I will show you some widgets like we have jQuery. This is jQuery. This is jQuery official site. So this is the jQuery UI site. When you look at this jQuery UI site, you can see this is jQuery. In jQuery, you will learn about it. While learning jQuery, I will teach you about this. In jQuery, you can see here, there are widgets. Left side, you see widgets are there. Widgets are there. You can see so many widgets are present. So if you are hearing the widget for the first time, that means generally you are not aware of web development properly. But anybody who knows web development, he knows about widgets, because many times we don't design everything. We borrow from others, from third parties, like Bootstrap, like jQuery UI, like Telerik. So many widgets are present. We get and use from them. Get and use from them. You see, we have widget like date time picker. When I select date time picker, you can see this is a date time picker widget. How to design it? They will give you the code for it. You have to implement that code and use it in your project. Such widgets are designed, widgets are present. These are gadgets. What gadget? These are all the gadgets, right? This is important. These are all important. So technically, you should know how to design by your own and how to use the existing widgets provided by several third parties, which you can implement and use. There are so many third parties. For example, you see Telerik. There is a site Telerik. This is Telerik. These people will sell you the UI. You see Telerik, JavaScript components. That means these people are not free. You have to buy from them, because at higher level, when we are developing applications at very high level for very big clients, these jQuery widgets also not enough. We need more better UI. Then we can buy and use them. You can see these people will sell. I will go to demos. You can see Telerik, and I open their demos. JavaScript, JSP, .NET, PHP. For every people, they sell the widgets, controls. They have to purchase and use these widgets. You can see this is various. We have jQuery demos, Angular, React, Vue. So we have so many. ASP.NET, JSP. You have so many. PHP, Silverlight, desktop applications. So many are there. Now suppose I selected jQuery demos. When I selected jQuery demos, you can see several demos, several widgets will come. Several widgets will be displayed here. So you can see so many widgets like barcode reader, QR code, so many are there. Generally, when you are developing website, we need so many things. Everything we cannot design and waste the time. We can borrow and use from third parties. That's what generally you learn in Bootstrap and working with jQuery UI and all, right? You will learn about them. These are actually called as widgets. So this is not a new term. You should know about what are widgets and how to use them. Okay, right. Next important, after understanding about widgets, another important, you need to know about what is URL and what is URI. These are the two important options. Actually, URL, uniform resource locator, and URI, uniform resource identifier, uniform resource locator and uniform resource identifier. Actually, what is URL and what is URI? These are the two important things you should know. Technically, so URL is nothing but, so URL is a virtual path generated by web server in order to access the resources from a website. I told you already, website contains two paths, virtual path and physical path. URL is a virtual path generated by web server in order to access the resources from website. I already told you, can you use physical path? Can you use physical path to access the resources? Can you use physical path to access the resources? Actually, we can use physical path, but we cannot give, am I right? We can use physical path to access the resources. We can use the physical path to access the resources. So, but due to security, we should not give it, am I right? Then we have to give only virtual path. So, virtual path is generated by web server in order to access the resources from website. That means resource locator. For example, I have a picture. Where is the picture locator? So that means I have a picture. Where is the picture look? What is the picture path? That is, what is the picture URL in our website? HTTP colon double slash. So localhost, our website name, shopping. In that images, in that we have some speaker dot jpg. This is called URL. Understood? Am I right? This is called URL. So URL is the virtual path. It is the virtual path. In the background, it will have physical path. Physical path like C colon slash images slash speaker C colon slash shopping. Am I right? Shopping slash images slash speaker dot jpg. Like this, it will be the physical path. But we use the virtual path to access the resources and use the resources. That is what actually URL is. Now, in this URL, technically, one more important part is there. URI. I will explain what is HTTP and all, because that is in the next level we have to discuss protocol and all. Currently, we are understanding what is URL and what is URI. Technically, URI is an identifier used to access any specific location within the resource, within the resource. URI is an identifier used to access any specific location within the resource actually. That is what actually URI, uniform resource identifier. These days, these URIs are very important. I will tell you how they are very important. Suppose I will open some page, notepad. Don't worry, just see the concept here. I am designing some page. So we have some headings. So some headings and with some paragraph. some heading and some paragraph. Heading is, suppose I defined as mobiles, okay, and the mobile related some paragraphs information is present. Some paragraphs information is present. So another heading, we have footwear, and here footwear related some paragraphs information is present. Another heading, we have like some speakers, and here speakers related some paragraphs information is there. Now I will save this in our website folder by index.html or tutorial or say products.html. Later you will learn about saving pages, everything. Don't worry about that. Just concentrate on the concept. That's it. Now I'm important here is for every heading I'm giving an ID. I'm giving an ID is equal to, this is mobiles is an ID. And after that, I'm saying footwear. So that means we have footwear, and I'm going to that footwear. And here I'm giving an ID as footwear. Okay. And I'm going to another option, speaker. So, and here I'm giving an ID as yeah. So we have products.html. So we have products.html. I am typing this products.html, right? .html and hit enter, and you can see the products page came. Now this is actually URL. This is actually URL. This is actually URL. That is the URL. Observe carefully. Observe carefully here. Observe carefully. In this products page, lot of contents are there. Then how I can go to any specific location? Like I want to go to speakers. Then what you can do is here I can put here an hash, and I can write speaker. This is actually, that is actually identifier. So that is actually identifier. Screen is visible to everyone, right? I hope is it visible to everyone? Screen is visible to everyone, na? Yeah, my internet speed is too high. So don't worry about that, Mr. Chandan Babu. First check your side, right? So for everyone it is clear. Only you check your side, okay? Right. Now see here. When I type here speaker, and hit enter, when I type here speaker and hit enter, right? So, and hit enter and hit enter, and you can see that it can directly access to that location and display. That means it can get and access to that location and display. That is what actually URI. That means URI indicates a location within the resource. A location within the resource. Resource location, that is URL. A location within the resource is URI. That means here, usually the URI looks like this. Example, so it looks like this. This is actually referred as URI. This complete is URL. That means this is complete URL, and only this part indicates which resource you are watching. In that resource, what you are watching, this is URI, the resource identifier. So these days we need to work with this very much. Why? Because you have seen several websites. You observe carefully. Suppose you opened a shopping site. After searching for some products on that shopping site, you close and you open Gmail or YouTube or Facebook. Suddenly you will find an advertisement for them. Am I right? Suddenly you will find an advertisement for that. Am I right? You don't need to worry about examples. Understood? You don't need to worry about examples, what code I have written. You need to just concentrate on the topic. You are not yet enough to understand what HTML I have written. We are not learning yet any HTML. I am just explaining the concept. So don't worry about what I have written in the notepad code. Understood? I hope everyone is clear with that. Right? You don't need to worry about the example. You need to just worry about the concept. So when you learn, you will understand about that. As of now, our intention is to understand what is URL and what is URI. Now, what is URL here? When I open this page, it will get me the top to the page. That means it will get me this page. In this page, I want to go to any specific location. Then I can define its location with a hash and I say speaker. Then it will take me to that location there. Am I right? So this is URI. That means accessing and specifying to that particular location. That is URI. So technically, that is how the point is. That means URL, the complete path. URI, that means in that what location, what topic you are watching. These days, you can see everywhere. When you are searching for something online and you go to Facebook and YouTube and all, you will see advertisement for the products that you are searching. That means they are able to access the exact location of what you are doing actually. That is possible through this URI. We can know the exact location where we are accessing. That is the important thing you need to understand. I hope everyone is clear with that. So what is URL and what is URI? Technically, these are all the points to understand before we start designing something. So before you start web development, first you should know all this. What is HTTP? What is protocol? All this you are going to learn in HTML when we start practically. Initially, these are all the theoretical concepts you need to first know before starting with web technologies. So once you are aware of this, now you can start learning the technology one by one. So now first we are going to start with the HTML. What is HTML? How HTML works? The purpose and designing pages by using HTML. So from today, we finished the demos concept. And from Monday, we will have a regular session. 1 hour session will be there every day. And from Monday, we will conduct the session for registered people. So demos finished. All these finished. Now we seriously start with our UI technologies. We don't waste time in so many demos here now. We will directly start practical approach with HTML now. And for the registered people, I will conduct a backup session for the topics if they have missed any earlier. For the registered people only, we will conduct a backup for the people who missed out the early sessions. And for registered people, I will share a separate repository where we will access our classroom related notes daily. And if you have any doubts, I can access your machine and I can see what the problems you are facing, and we can have step by step learning about the UI technologies. So we are going to end the demos, and now we are going to start with the HTML for registered people. If you are not yet registered, once contact our admin. He is posting that address details and all. So from Monday, mostly the link will be changed. For registered people, the email will be sent for that particular new link. Okay. Then we can continue on Monday. This is enough with the demos. Now we can start really working with it with HTML from Monday onwards. Okay.